injury suffered at Daytona. A.J. Foyt, who owns 4 lifetime wins at Indy, is here to fight it out with the good old boys. Darrell Waltrip is the defending Grand National champ and a man many feel is the best in the business today. There's Cale Yarborough, experienced, crafty, wily, with brilliant past success at this track. And veteran Bobby Allison, who started this season with a bang, winning the Daytona 500. We'll take the checkered flag today. We'll stay with us for the 23rd running of the Atlanta 500. A field of 39 cars out on the track as we get set today for the Atlanta 500 at Atlanta International Raceway on a warm and humid day, and a big crowd filling the grandstand here. They expect in excess of 60,000 to look on for the 4th race on the 1982 Grand National Circuit. Hello again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Atlanta. We've had a lot of action here over the years, and today we should see more of the same. On the pole, Dale Earnhardt, who was the 1980 NASCAR Grand National champion. Interestingly enough, this is the first time that Earnhardt has won a pole position since 1979. Last year's Grand National champion, Darrell Waltrip, who had a sensational season, winning a dozen races, will start back in the pack today. Let me bring in our expert commentator on auto racing, Sam Posey. And Sam, I think it's very interesting that here in Atlanta, a track a little bit more than a mile and a half around, that a lot of the speed will begin the race in the middle of the pack.
It makes it a highly volatile situation, doesn't it? Because you have the defending national champion, you have the man that won the race here last year, back in 14th and 15th, respectively, Waltrip and Yarborough. Now, when the race begins, Al, it seems to me that the problem facing these drivers is how to get up front where they want to be without pushing their cars too hard. This track is like one long turn. It's almost a complete bowl. And if you try to make the charge to the front, you might pay for it dearly by overheating your tires and then having to drop back. So these drivers that are in the middle of the pack have a very difficult job ahead of them, and it'll be interesting to see what they do about it.
The cars are on the pace lap. We expect the pace car to be moving into the pits. As we take a look at the front row, Dale Earnhardt on the inside, and then Ricky Rudd, car 3. The second row comprised of Harry Gant and Bill Elliott. Richard Petty and Buddy Baker are in row 3. They'll go 328 laps. This track is banked 5 degrees in the straightaways, 24 degrees in the turns. As we anticipate the green flag, and we have it. The Atlanta 500 is underway. Dale Earnhardt, who qualified with a speed of 163.774 miles per hour. He finished 3rd in this race last year. Is door handle to door handle in turn number 1 with Ricky Rudd. Gann and Elliott in row 2, and that's Petty in 5th place with A.J. Foyt starting to move up early from the 9th position. That's Foyt in car number 51, just behind Petty. He has moved into 6th position.
Dale Earnhardt, Al, when he got the pole, was able to run a line that is very, very low, right down against the white line on the inside of the track. That's what gave him the speed to get the pole, and it'll be interesting to see if he pursues that. Yes, he is. He's diving down there, and it's working for him now in the race.
Earnhardt, the Grand National champion in 1980, yet last season he did not win a race. This year, in the 3 races run thus far on the Grand National circuit, his best finish was 2nd at Bristol, Tennessee. Earnhardt is in the lead. Harry Gant, the veteran who has yet to win a Grand National race in a long career. He's finished 2nd on 10 different occasions, has moved into 2nd place in car number 33. Dale Earnhardt out in front with Gant running 2nd. Ricky Rudd in 3rd position. Bill Elliott is 4th. A.J. Foyt in front of Petty now. A.J. is running 5th.
Elliott making a nice move on Ricky Rudd there as they go into the 3rd turn.
Dale Earnhardt, the leader, the age of 29 out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Neil Bonnet, who started back in row 8, steadily moving up. So early in the Atlanta 500, Earnhardt, the leader, followed by Gant, Elliott, Rudd, and Foyt. We're back at Atlanta International Raceway, and it's still Dale Earnhardt leading. Harry Gant is 2nd. Bill Elliott 3rd. Neil Bonnet is 4th. As the leaders move up on the back markers and start to lap the slower cars. A.J. Foyt, by the way, has now been into the pits a couple of times, so after a promising beginning, it apparently will not be A.J.'s day. He was moving up rapidly and early as Neil Bonnet now moves into 3rd place, and Bonnet in the white car, red roof, number 21, is becoming the big story here. He's moved up from 16th, Sam.
Bonnet has displayed enormous horsepower as he's come up through the field, Al. His car, incidentally, is listed as a Ford, and I should explain quickly that although you see it there, the body bodywork looks a lot like a Ford. That's where the resemblance to a stock machine ends, because the chassis and the suspension is all pure racing car built by racing specialists.
Neil Bonnet from Hueytown, Alabama, protege of the Allisons, starting to move down inside on Gant. At the age of 35, not a particularly good year for Bonnet last season, but he hopes to get back in stride in 1982, and he has moved from well back in the pack, and right now taking the measure of Harry Gant and trying to work his way into second place, and does, behind Earnhardt.
Well, Al, you saw the horsepower that Bonnet has. He was able to come off of that turn level with Gant and actually put a car length behind him there as they went down the straightaway. Let's see what happens as he comes up on Earnhardt. It looks like the same thing.
And Bonnet has the lead as they go into turn 3. Neil Bonnet seeking his 11th career victory. Last year on this track, it was feast or famine for Neil. He finished 28th in the Atlanta 500, but in the other race run here, the Dixie 500, he won it.
What Earnhardt has to do now, Al, is he has to make sure that Bonnet doesn't get away from him, because Bonnet has that extra horsepower, and if he could make a clean break, he might be gone. But if Earnhardt can stay close in the turns, usually using the good handling, maybe he can stay with it.
That's Gant running third, and Richard Petty right there fourth, and A.J. Foyt is finished for the day. After a couple of pit stops, A.J. will park it, and Foyt apparently physically all right, Sam, after the injury sustained at Michigan International Speedway last year, but his car not in as good a shape as A.J. today.
Well, look at Dale Earnhardt. He has fought back. He's on the inside now. He's going down low there. He's down into the first turn using the handling of his car, and he has retaken the lead from Neil Bonnet.
Great early battle here at the Atlanta 500. Earnhardt now leading Bonnet. Meanwhile, in the garage, Foyt out of his car, and our colleague Chris Economaki with him.
AJ, you were really going there in the early laps. You made several pit stops. It looked like you couldn't find out what the trouble was. Well, we knew something happened. I thought at first, Chris, we cut a tire on the right rear. We changed it, and then I said, well, it must have been the left rear. And what we determined, they got a ratchet rear, and I broke the ratchet, because all they do is spin one wheel, and it's just a terrible thing to happen. I felt like we really had to make these boys run today if they don't win the race.
A.J. Foyt exuding confidence as always. Dale Earnhardt is the leader in the Atlanta 500. Neil Bonnet is second. Harry Gant right up there amongst the leaders. He is third. As you take a look at car 15, Earnhardt and Bonnet, you've got Joe Ruttman having moved up to fourth position, and Richard Petty in the thick of things running fifth. And here comes Bonnet down on the inside to try to retake the lead from Earnhardt.
Earnhardt's gone very high in that turn, Al. I think what's happening is when he pinches the car down low, he's heating up his tires. So we're seeing him start to experiment with different lines. It's a long afternoon out there, and if you take the low line all day long, it could overheat the tires.
Back in the pack, there is Buddy Baker, car 1. He is in ninth place at the moment. Behind him, Cale Yarborough, who won the Atlanta 500 last year, running 10th. And the defending Grand National champion, Darrell Waltrip, in car 11, running 11th.
None of these cars are handling that well at this stage of the game, Al, but because the suspensions are adjustable, there's still plenty of opportunity to get them handling right before the end of the race.
And we have certainly seen enough of that man, Cale Yarborough, over the years to know what he can do as he works his way up through the pack. A man who can bide his time, a man who can be very patient, as is the driver behind him, Darrell Waltrip, in car 11, who won 12 of the 30 races on the 1981 Grand National Tour. And in turn number 3, there's a spin. That is car number 70, J.D. McDuffie. McDuffie, in his 504th Grand National race today, he has never won a race. And you can now make it 0 for 504 as the yellow flag comes out in Atlanta, with Earnhardt leading, Bonnet second, and Gant third. The green flag, Atlanta, and Neil Bonnet has retaken the lead. He is followed by Dale Earnhardt. The two have been exchanging the lead through the early stages of the race. Harry Gant is third, Joe Ruttman fourth, Richard Petty is currently in fifth place. There's Cale Yarborough, who is now eighth, and Bill Elliott, who started in the second row, has dropped back to ninth.
Yarborough's car is starting to work pretty well now, Al. Notice that he's able to run that low groove, which he was not able to run earlier. Yarborough's car, incidentally, a pure racing car, and I can't emphasize strongly enough, you could not buy one of these in the showroom.
There is the the battle for fourth place at the moment. Car 2 is Joe Ruttman. He is followed by Richard Petty, number 43, in fifth place. Bobby Allison is in sixth position, and Richard's son Kyle is seventh. It's already been a relatively tough season for Richard Petty. The season began on the 14th of February at Daytona, and in the 500 there, Petty involved in this accident. Before today's race, Chris Economaki was with Richard as he entered his machine.
Well, here's Richard now. Richard Petty, a man who has given more than half his life to the sport, half his stomach, half his hearing, and it now looks like one of his 2 feet. He had a terrible accident at Daytona. Richard, it's been 5 weeks to the day. Why isn't your foot better?
Well, it tore all the ligaments loose, Chris. It's busted one of the bones, but I think it's healed up. But when it tears the ligaments and stuff, it just takes a long time for them to heal back up.
What does that mean at the wheel, Richard? Working the throttle and the brake and so forth. You have the sensations in it that you need to do a good job?
Well, here it doesn't really make that much difference because you don't use the brakes except to come into the pits anyway. But I don't have any sensation of how hard I'm pushing the brake or how hard I'm pushing the gas. And it makes it aggravating on a short track, but here at Atlanta won't make a lot of difference.
You don't think it'll impair your performance at all?
I hope not. I put it that way.
Something like that, Richard, make you think about hanging up your goggles?
No, not really. It just makes me more determined to get back out there and do it again.
Well, okay. Have a good 500.
Thank you.
Well, Al, I think Richard is really underplaying the difficulty of driving in a race like this with that specific injury. You see not only the brace on his ankle, but the bulkiness of the foot. I've had to drive with a similar injury, and I can tell you it's very difficult.
Thus far, though, he's been doing quite well. There he is, car 43. He's in fifth place. That's Ruttman fourth, Richard Petty fifth, Bobby Allison sixth, Kyle Petty is seventh. Richard Petty, the winningest driver ever in NASCAR annals, 195 career wins. And there's the battle for the lead right now. It is Neil Bonnet, car 21, out in front. And then Earnhardt on the outside, car 15 second. Harry Gant hanging right in and dropping down low. Gant is third.
Now watch Dale Earnhardt go high there, Al, and retake the lead from Neil Bonnet. And now Bonnet fights back on the inside. Bonnet is now in the lead momentarily, but it's Earnhardt retaking the lead. This is sensational.
And Bonnet getting caught in the squeeze right there. Gant in the draft of Earnhardt. Harry up high in second place. So out of turn number 4 now, it is Dale Earnhardt out in front. Gant is second, and that's Neil Bonnet currently running in third position. The Atlanta 500, the fourth race of the 1982 season, and it's been a dandy from the outset. Earnhardt, who sat on the pole, and Bonnet, and there is Joe Milliken in car number 50, hitting the outside wall and dropping down into the infield. Joe Milliken with the spin here, and that brings out the yellow flag with Dale Earnhardt leading at the moment. Harry Gant is second, Neil Bonnet is third, followed by Bobby Allison and Joe Ruttman. We'll be back later with more of the Atlanta 500, but right now to the World Ice Dancing Championship and Jim McKay. As the Atlanta 500 continues, Al Michaels reporting along with Sam Posey and Chris Economaki, and the leader is Bobby Allison in car number 88. He is trailed by Cale Yarborough in second place, car 27. Harry Gant, the next man in your picture, is actually a lap down. It is Richard Petty in car 43, who is third. Darrell Waltrip has moved up to fourth, and Benny Parsons is fifth. So Bobby Allison in car 88, the winner of this year's Daytona 500, leading here in Atlanta.
And what a successful comeback he's made since the beginning of the race, Al, when he was running way back and was almost lapped. And the car has started to work for him, and he's come up from the middle of the pack to lead it.
Car 44 out in front of Allison is driven by Terry Labonte, the current point leader. However, he is a lap down, and there is Darrell Waltrip, last year's defending champion, currently in fourth place. He's trailed by Benny Parsons. And as we pan left, you can see there's Allison, and you can see that Waltrip does not have that much distance to make up.
Both those men have come, as I said, from way back, and it is all, of course, because of the adjustability of the chassis. And they have kept working on those cars all day, and it's paid off.
Now, earlier in the race, we had a great battle between Dale Earnhardt and Neil Bonnet for the lead, but on lap number 211, a blown engine took the pole sitter, Earnhardt, out of the race. He was finished for the day at that point. And then, ironically enough, just 3 laps later, the same fate befell Neil Bonnet, who had looked so good early.
Well, they had to push each other so hard, Al. I don't know. That might have been the cause. Another possibility, it was very hot at the beginning of the race. It has cooled down now. That might have been tough on the engine.
So with Earnhardt and Bonnet out, Bobby Allison maintains the lead. He's followed here by Terry Labonte, but he's a lap down. It is Yarborough, third man in your picture, who is currently second. Richard Petty right in the thick of things, third. Darrell Waltrip, fourth, and Benny Parsons is fifth.
Driving skill of these men is just amazing to me, Al. I drove one of Richard Petty's cars a couple of months ago, and it was an amazingly difficult task. The cars weigh 3,700 pounds. Now watch Benny Parsons on the inside there. It's really a balancing act. The tires are only 8 inches wide.
And Parsons is overtaken once again by Darrell Waltrip, currently running fourth. Chris Economaki is down in Darrell Waltrip's pit with this report.
This wreck in the hands of the skilled mechanic in Darrell Waltrip's pit has given him 4 miles an hour more on the track than he had before the adjustment was made. Was put in an adjusting hole over the left rear wheel and turned exactly 3 times around. That changed the weight bias from one side of the car to the other, and now Waltrip is going 4 miles an hour faster than he's been able to go all day, and he's moving up to become the challenger.
Darrell Waltrip, who started in 14th position, is currently fourth. That is Labonte, 44, on the inside, but keep in mind now he's a lap down. Allison is the leader, and here comes Cale Yarborough up on the inside, challenging for the lead. Yarborough and Allison, door handle to door handle. And now as they head down the main straightaway, Cale on the inside, Yarborough nudging out in front, and Cale Yarborough has taken the lead.
Remember, Al, that in order to improve the handling of their cars, the drivers, in addition to driving and battling like this on the track, have to be constantly on the radios, back to their crew chief, telling them about the characteristics of the cars. So it's a very difficult job.
Cale at the moment trying to put some distance between himself and Bobby Allison. Yarborough out of Simmonsville, South Carolina. Allison from Ewanstown, Alabama. Allison has won 66 career races, and yet he has never taken the overall NASCAR title in any given year. Yarborough today seeks career win number 72. And interestingly enough, earlier this year, the Daytona 500, when Allison won it, Yarborough was second. Cale, meanwhile, has won 6 500-mile races on this track, and earlier Sam asked him about the key to his success here.
Well, the biggest thing here is having a car that'll handle all day. You know, this racetrack is almost all turns. The straightaway is very short, and if you don't have a car that's handling good here, you're going to be in trouble all day. So the biggest thing here is to make a car work from the beginning to the end. And if that happens, then you've got a good chance at winning this race. If you don't handle, there's no way you can win.
Mentioned earlier, Sam, a man who is patient, finding his time well early. There he is, leading.
I think it must be especially difficult to be patient for Cale because he doesn't do as many races now as he used to, so each one takes on greater importance.
Yarborough is leading. Bobby Allison running in second place. Third and fourth cars in your picture. Labonte and Gant are each a lap down. Richard Petty is currently in third place as he comes into view. And it is Darrell Waltrip running fourth. This day began bright and sunny and warm, but we have a lot of cloud cover right now, and the weatherman is telling us the front is moving in from the west, and they do expect rain in Atlanta.
It's already a good deal more humid, and Bobby Allison's engine has blown, possibly because of the weather condition change. Al, I don't know. That drops him out of second place.
So Allison, who was contending for the championship here in Atlanta, all of a sudden will go back to the garage as Cale Yarborough maintains the lead. Richard Petty is second. Darrell Waltrip third. Benny Parsons is currently fourth. The yellow flag came out when Bobby Allison blew his engine, and now we have green again, racing once more in Atlanta with Cale Yarborough, the leader, and Darrell Waltrip in second place. First man in your picture is Terry Labonte, car 44, but he's at the tail end of this lap. He's actually in fifth place overall. Leader is Yarborough, 27. Waltrip is in second place. Petty is third. Parsons is fourth. And Labonte is fifth. Those 5 men, the only man on the lead lap.
Well, it's very important for Labonte to try to stay ahead here and stay on the same lap, because if a yellow were to come out, he would then be able to make up the lap that he is almost behind. He's almost a full lap behind here.
The weather, we mentioned before, I think becoming a key factor, Sam, as Cale Yarborough is able to move in front of Labonte, in essence lapping him, and Darrell Waltrip on the inside second. Petty is third. What about strategy under conditions such as this, Sam?
Well, the drivers are having to keep an eye on those clouds. It's very hard to tell. I mean, obviously rain is on the way. Just how quickly, we don't know. What it means is you can't afford to drop back out of that leading group because it might suddenly rain and that'd be your race over right then. It's more of a pressure cooker situation than usual.
Here comes Darrell Waltrip up on the inside, but it is still Yarborough in the lead just barely, and Richard Petty right in the thick of things. Car 33, Harry Gant, also in your picture, but Gant is a lap down. It's Yarborough on top with Waltrip second. Petty is third. The first three right there.
Well, I think Petty is pushing hard at this point, Al, and that illustrates there. He's trying to move into second. He's right alongside of Darrell Waltrip. And I think this illustrates the point, because ordinarily Richard Petty likes to hang back, but he's not there. He's taken second. He's afraid to do that now. He's coming much more to the fore than he usually would at this stage in the race.
Dale Yarborough still maintaining the lead. Petty in second place. Darrell Waltrip is third. Only other man on the same lap would be Benny Parsons in car 28, who is running fourth. And here comes Petty up on the inside of Yarborough to challenge Cale and takes the lead.
As they head into the third turn, it's Petty leading, and that's Yarborough high in second place, and Darrell Waltrip is making a bid. Waltrip is making a move up on the inside and takes second place. Coming off that turn, see the reaction to Petty in the lead. They love him here in Atlanta.
Over 62,500 looking on at Atlanta International Raceway, and no doubt Richard Petty would be the favorite. He's in front with Waltrip running in second place. Car 33, Harry Gant is a lap down as you look at the man who seeks career win number 196 today. But here comes Waltrip again, challenging Petty.
Petty's foot at this stage, I don't know, Al. I thought it would hurt him more than this. He obviously is able to control the car perfectly. What pain he may be in, of course, there's no way to tell.
Richard Petty leading in the Atlanta 500 with Waltrip second. Now, Harry Gant on the tail of Waltrip, but again, will reinforce that he is a lap down. Cale Yarborough in car 27 is third, and Benny Parsons, only other man on the same lap in car 28, is running in fourth place. And there's a look at the former cab driver out of Detroit, Benny Parsons.
Petty's car is handling beautifully, Al. He's able to slot it right down low on the track there, and he's got good horsepower. Petty's car has run as well today as we've seen it at any time this year.
Richard injured at Daytona, and now it is Waltrip starting to move toward the inside, but again backing off here, and he'll wind up in Richard's draft once again. It looks like Waltrip is measuring Petty, seeing exactly where on the track, at what spot he'd like to overtake him, and here he comes on the inside. And Waltrip gets past Petty to move into the lead momentarily anyway. Richard is second.
Richard backed off there a split second as they went into that turn, almost let Waltrip by cleanly so that he could follow him through the turn. There's Waltrip.
The new leader, Darrell Waltrip, with Richard Petty second, Cale Yarborough is third, and Benny Parsons is fourth in the Atlanta 500. With the skies becoming more and more ominous here in Atlanta, it is still Darrell Waltrip, the leader of the Atlanta 500 in car 11. Richard Petty remains in second place, and Cale Yarborough is currently third. So a good three-way battle for the top spot right now, and Chris Economaki is in Yarborough's pit.
This is Tim Brewer, Cale Yarborough's crew chief. Tim, it's about to rain. What are you telling Cale about that? Can he pass those two guys and get the lead?
Well, right now we've got a set of used tires, Chris. They've got hot. He's just holding on right now to see what he can do. If we get a caution, maybe we get 4 more tires on there and take a shot at him for the race.
Well, he can't pass those guys now because of that, right?
Not right now.
Well, that's big news, Al, because if you have worn tires, it really takes away your edge in the turn.
So Yarborough is sitting in third place, but here comes Petty up on the inside. Petty and Waltrip just about dead even. With Yarborough in their wake, and now Richard has the lead. It's Petty on top with Waltrip second, and Cale is hanging right in there with the thin rubber and all.
Well, he certainly is, and of course he's able to draft on the straight. He does drop back a little bit there in the turns, but he's looking pretty good to me.
Richard Petty still in the lead. Waltrip started to move down toward the inside, but now backing off just a bit. Petty in front, Waltrip second, and Yarborough once again in the draft of Darrell.
Well, we're noticing a couple of raindrops now in the window of the booth here. It's hard to tell out there on the track what it might be. Of course, it's the official's discretion discussion, if it were to rain, they would throw the yellow light, and at that point, the cars would race to the start-finish line from that point.
That is something, of course, the drivers are obviously aware of. It would behoove a man then to have the lead as they pass the start-finish line, and that's, of course, right now on the mind of Richard Petty. He is out in front. Darrell Waltrip is second, and there is Darrell's wife, Stevie, who is starting the race. She is behind Petty, with Dale Yarborough still in the thick of things, currently third.
All three drivers running roughly the same groove. We're not seeing that very sharp difference that we did earlier in the race when Earnhardt was running so high.
As they move up on the slower traffic right now, and Petty still with the lead. Waltrip started to move down toward the inside, and the yellow light has come out. So they will race under green conditions to the start-finish line, and then we will be under the yellow. It is still Petty barely leading, but Waltrip is going to make his move on the inside with Cale third. They are side by side as, again, they start to move into slower traffic, and as they cross the start-finish line, I think it's too close to call, Sam.
I think it is. There's no way to be sure. Let's have another look at it, though. Now, that's Waltrip on the inside, Petty in the red car on the outside. Waltrip, if anything, seems to have a slight edge here, but it can be very deceiving at this angle. Waltrip a little more momentum as they came off that turn. There's that car in the way, a slower car in the way of Waltrip, but as they go under our position here, there's no way to call it.
Take another closer look now, and we understand the officials are saying that Darrell Waltrip did have the lead at the end of this lap. And again, you can see that it's just by simply a matter of inches. So Waltrip, at the moment, has the lead, and now it is really coming down, and we have a red flag. That will stop the race at the moment, and hopefully it will stop raining. We will be able to resume action, but for the moment, at least, it is Darrell Waltrip out in front. Richard Petty is in second place. Dale Yarborough is third, and Benny Parsons is the only other man on the same lap. He is in fourth place. So the red flag is out at the Atlanta 500.
The 500, which was recorded last Sunday. This incredible narrow distance separating Darrell Waltrip and Richard Petty proved to be decisive. The officials waited almost an hour before sending the field back onto the track in an effort to dry it, but more rain and ensuing darkness officially closed the track without further racing. Waltrip became the official winner, Petty second, Yarborough third. And let's rejoin Al Michaels to recap this unusual finish.
Well, this big crowd filing out of Atlanta International Raceway, no doubt frustrated and disappointed because we had some terrific racing throughout the course of the day. The race stopped after 287 laps, or 438 of the 500 miles completed. Darrell Waltrip, who won earlier this year at Bristol, Tennessee, wins here at Atlanta, and Chris Economaki spoke with him in Victory Lane.
Listen, if it hadn't rained, Darrell, sir, do you think you'd be in here right now?
I really wasn't worried. We had the car right, and we had all of our best stuff to throw at them at the finish. And I was serious when I said I didn't want to finish this way because I'd rather won it flat out. But I think we proved the point. We were leading when it was over, and that's what counts.
Leading just barely. This is as close a finish as you'll ever see, Sam.
Well, it took me a little bit by surprise, Al, because I thought Richard was doing the right thing when he was leading, keeping himself out front. But what may have happened is that when he hit the reins first, Darrell saw him get in a little bit of a slide, and that's what gave Waltrip the opportunity. Here they come. Now, because Richard went into that wet third turn first, Waltrip saw him slide and was able to back off just a little bit and get down on the inside. Both of them were then really wheel to wheel, but it was Waltrip that had the momentum.
So Richard Petty falling short in his quest for victory number 196 as you see Richard's car in the garage area. And shortly after the race, Chris was down in Richard's van.
Well, first of all, Richard, how do you feel and how's that foot?
Well, I feel a little disappointed, and the foot hurts worse now than it would if I wasn't disappointed. In other words, if we won the race, it wouldn't be hurting quite as bad. But really, it wasn't too bad. As long as we was going, it was okay. When we stopped, and it gets cool, then it starts hurting.
How disappointed are you about the finish? You think you might have won had it gone under the green to the full distance?
Oh, no, I was leading until we ran into the rain, but he passed me and got back ahead of me. So, you know, he feels like that he had the best car, and I feel like I had the best car at that time, and I know Cale feels the same way. So it's just one of those circumstances that, you know, somebody's got to win, and he just happened to win.
So again, they finish in that order. Waltrip, Petty, Yarborough and Parsons. Al Michaels for Sam Posey and Chris Economaki saying so long from Atlanta.